Previously, I had been looking into the whole situation with the lights. It turns out that the strobes were being powered by the same circuit as the position lights. Over 6,000 subscribers now, so I felt the need to acquire a little bit extra equipment. So I've got this extra camera, quite bulky actually. Don't know how long I'm going to last with this on my head. Kind of looks silly. I've been getting the airplane ready for the avionics shop, and I've been basically removing all the panels that I can get my hands on, just preemptively removing all the inspection panels. So you can see there's quite a number of them. And it kind of makes the underside of the wing look like Swiss cheese. So can you guess how many there are? Quite a few more here on this wing. The pièce de résistance is all the ones that are underneath the belly, which I haven't completed yet, and which I'm about to do today. And I'm numbering them so that I can remember where they each go. But yeah, Swiss cheese Mooney Mustang. When I first got the airplane, anytime I would switch on the position lights, the breaker would break. And it ended up being this light bulb on the right side that was creating too much amperage, so maybe it was shorting or something inside the bulb. So when I substituted that bulb with an LED bulb, the problem kind of went away. But I'm wondering if the previous owner or one of the previous owners experienced that problem and couldn't figure it out, that it was basically just a faulty bulb, and they may have disconnected the strobe system from the nav position light circuit in order to address that problem. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Since with the rotating beacon that's on the top of the tail there, they would have still been compliant, so they didn't necessarily need the strobes to be connected. But now I've dug into the whole strobe apparatus and wanting to go with LED everything. I am basically going to have to add a strobe circuit, and so that's why removing all the inspection panels, it works out anyway. It's no wasted amount of work. So in reviewing this whole system, I said, well, I don't want to do away with strobes. Strobes are good. The tail beacon is all the way at the top of the tail over there, and when that's illuminating, I don't think that people necessarily realize that danger is imminent. But the strobes, they get your attention because they blind you. So you kind of like, look away. You don't want to be anywhere near them when they're going off. So I think strobes are a much better device for warning people that the airplane is either in motion or about to start the engine or anything like that. Hence, what we're going to do is we're going to just put a anti-collision strobe system on this airplane combined with an LED position light. And I'll have to add a circuit for the strobe lights because we don't need them on all the time. What that means is that I can essentially remove the tail beacon. And I looked into the unit, and they're saying that basically it's most likely a Grimes unit, and it could be almost a couple of pounds in weight. And based on where it's located, you can see the arm, and the distance from the datum is that would create a lot of moment for the airplane. By withdrawing this, removing it, that would basically be the equivalent of removing quite a lot of weight from the front, possibly the equivalent of 10 to 20 pounds over there. Is this going to get me high enough? A little bit of bird poop here. Are they sitting on the ceiling or are they sitting on the top of my airplane? Who knows? It's pretty stable for now. I can hold on to the tail of the airplane, but it needs to go a little bit higher. Yeah, I'm not feeling great about this height and working on my own. Let's get something better. And just so you know, I do have a couple of these avionics. Since I'm upgrading the avionics in the airplane and going with a remote transponder, I'm not going to need the 2 that I have. So they're up for grabs. And when I say up for grabs, I mean I will sell them to you for an extremely reasonable price. But don't expect to get them for free. All right, let's see if I can make this work. A more traditional approach. Watch out for the airplane. We're good, clear. Ooh. Some of you are not liking this, I know, because I'm not liking it. A little bit too close to the airplane. But anyway, let's see. Is this going to help us? So let's go up here and see what's going on. Oh yeah, just the right height. So look at this, looks welded here. And these stickers are older. And here's the towel hanger antenna, which I'm told worked pretty well. But if I wanted to remove this, let's see if I can get the dimensions on it. See what kind of diameter it has. But supposedly this weighs a little bit. So, do I want to leave it there? Probably not. But it does work. And since I don't have a replacement in place yet, I'm going to postpone removing it until I'm ready. But my idea is that I would get this dimension and 3D print something that goes here instead. I had this crazy idea that if you look at this view, this is an awesome view from up here. So I was thinking, why not put a GoPro camera attachment up here? Or even have some kind of onboard recording system that might connect to the G3, since the G3 can display video. And so if I had a camera up here looking forward, that would be a pretty awesome view. It would help with seeing ahead. So that was one idea. I think I'll hold off on taking it down right now, but I definitely want to consider it. We'll see how my LED plan for the strobes goes. If the strobes are in place and working as designed, I think I'll be more adventurous with the rotating beacon. Some kind of attachment point for a GoPro. I just realized in saying that is not an easy place to get to when you want to mount and dismount your GoPro camera or action camera. I'm not even using GoPros actually. So I'd want something more permanent. And so there are these small size DVRs with attached, inputs for cameras. And I was thinking I could put a camera up there that links into this DVR or into the G3X, which has an input for video. But the G3X can't record, to my knowledge. So I would have to figure all that out. But wouldn't that be awesome to have a camera looking down on the airplane from above? Obviously now seeing how tall this is and that I would need a ladder every time to put an action camera up there, obviously I don't want to do that. All right, well, I think I'm just going to continue with removing inspection covers. And what you guys can do is you can try and guess how many inspection covers the airplane has on the underbelly. Let's not even talk about the ones that are on the fuselage, like the ones over here, like that one there and that one. There's two. There's that big one on the other side. I think there's two on the other side. But I'll give you a clue to help you figure out how many there are. On each wing, there's 23 on the underside of the wing. So that's pretty huge. I've marked them, C18 and this and that. But Yeah, they need to all come off. And then they get stored in a box. Now, one of the reasons I want to remove all the inspection covers is because I want to make sure that this annual is good to return to service also. We'll take advantage of all these things being uncovered to do a condition inspection. Yeah, no more talk of annuals, now it's called condition inspection. And it'll be good to have all this uncovered. It really doesn't. All right, so I finished removing all the inspection covers. I don't know if you can see from here, but Swiss cheese is what comes to mind. Gruyere. And let's see here. So is there anything interesting? Well, we have the connectors that are just behind the wing spar. Those are here. So that's good to know. Because if we need to rewire anything, that's where we're going to have to fetch them. There's some coax cables, if you remember those. I had to section those off. So they're in here, so I now have access to that. Looks like some kind of a relay here. We'll have to figure that out. But the coax cables, with this remaining static line here, or actually this tube was part of the autopilot system. So the coax, actually there's a coax that was terminated, but not by me. So obviously there's been previous repairs, installations, and they've removed things, maybe antennas. So I'm going to clean this up. I'll probably remove these two black coax and this orange. I'm not going to mess around with the electronics over here. There's no need to for now. A lot of junctions here. I don't see anything here. I just see the torque tubes. Oh, no, there is the green tube here that's part of the autopilot system, the Bretagne. There's a red one too. So that is up for removal unless the avionics shop tells me they can use it as conduit, which was suggested by one of the viewers. Oh, here's something. What is that? Try and get the camera up here. Oh, that's the torque tube for the trim. Comes in from the side. Yeah, there you go. See better how it comes from the cabin. So, what about over here? Anything interesting over here? No. Aside from what looks like a repair on this rib here. Huh. Strange. Anything over here? No. No, I don't see anything. Ugh. All right, what about over here? Again, another one of these circular with a bolt through the middle. It doesn't really look like a bolt. It's definitely threaded. Oh, it's an attach point inside the fuselage. Anything around here? Not really. Huh. That is the step. That is the other side of the step, which is here. So maybe this repair has something to do with that, holding it in place better. Yeah, maybe. I can see where there's been some play. So my guess is after a lot of use, it started moving and they repaired it. and I probably need to stop draw this. This is just a fairing, so it's not very important. But they obviously repaired it inside. Let's see, anything else of note? No. Okay. Here, the green and the red. Is that all there is? Let's see if I can touch it. Yep. Just those lines. Here is the flap actuator, screw actuator, as you can see here. It's a Jukes. If you can read it in reverse. Let's see what else is there. Tucked away alongside it is feeding the orange tube that went to the autopilot. Okay. Over here, not much to report. Nope. Just a few electric lines here. We'll have to figure out what those go to. Here comes that green line again. That's going to go over here, and possibly the green's going to the wing. And the red, that left wing, and the red looks like it's going to the right wing. So pretty clean. Not seeing anything that I'm particularly worried about. A good visual here on the torque tube. Okay. And then the rest is hidden under here until we get to the other side, which I'm going to go to next. There's no access here to look in the belly here. You see that red line goes all the way. Yeah. I mean, could it come in handy? I guess if I could feed a line all the way through, that would take it to the strobes. But that red line doesn't go all the way to the wingtips. It will only go as far as the elevator. Far enough, maybe. Okay, here we have something here. I'll have to see what that is on the other side. Here we have an actuator. Something to do with the flight controls. A little bit of surface rust. There's a squat switch. Basically going back here, and this is where the nest was. I can see a problem now. That's loose. So that's why you want to open up your airplane. Get into the belly of the beast. What looks to be another motor here. I'll have to look up what this motor's for. I guess I could take this whole underside off. Look at how many screws there would be to remove to get access to underneath here. Crazy number, but it's possible. I guess it's designed for it.